dawn departures and fabulous sailing conditions. In this episode of our voyage around Britain, we sail Florence east from the Isles of Scilly to Salcombe. We're on the home stretch now, but couldn't resist stopping in at some of the stunning anchorages on the south coast.
We have sailed over 50,000 miles on our 37-foot sailboat Florence, seeking out stunning tropical locations around the world. This season we were looking for something different, so we set out to sail challenging waters and explore spectacular scenery as we circumnavigate our home country. We are Matt and Amy, and this is Sailing Around Britain.
We left the Isles of Scilly at dawn this morning and we're heading for the Helford River, just a really picturesque part of the mainland of Cornwall. We have been there before. We're heading there because we've got some strong winds coming and we think it's going to be much more sheltered there than it would be on the Isles of Scilly. So we've got over 60 miles to sail today, which is why we left so early, and it's been upwind most of the way.
The way the timing works out with the tides in the channel means, unfortunately, as we're coming past the Lizard, the tide's actually pretty strongly against us, and it's spring tides at the moment as well. So we're staying 2 miles off the headland so that we don't get a really strong tide close in, and then once we're past, we can then bear away and head round for the Helford River. Just heard a Pam request over the VHF, and it's from a yacht which is about 3 miles in front of us. They've got stuck on a lobster pot buoy, so they've radioed the coastguard for assistance, asking if anybody can help them disentangle it or give them a tow. Now, we are actually the closest vessel, but in this sea state, disentangling them from a lobster pot buoy would mean jumping in, and that's not the safest thing to do. And we're not really big enough to give them a tow because they're 13-metre sailing knot, especially if they're attached to something. So Falmouth Coast Guard are going to send a lifeboat to give them a tow, but they're a little bit worried that if the lobster pot does some damage or yanks something off underneath the boat, they might start taking on water. So we're actually going to sail to the yacht and going to stand by and just give them some reassurance that there's somebody there in case something worse happens. We'll stand by until the lifeboat arrives.
They're too far away to catch on camera, but you can see on our chat plotter that that's us, that's the boat in distress, and that's the lifeboat. This is how good the RNLI is in the UK. In the time that it's taken us to pick up a camera and for Matt to explain what's happened, the RNLI have overtaken us. And I can see them becoming even smaller in the distance. They're going to be with them in a couple of minutes, so hopefully they should be absolutely fine.
Florence, this is Falmouth Coast Guard. Many thanks for your offer of assistance. The lifeboat is now on scene with the vessel Grace, and you are welcome to carry on with your passage.
We happened to be in the same marina as the yacht which issued the Pan a week or so later. They thanked us for standing by and were able to explain that the lobster pot came free from their propeller by itself when the lifeboat was on the scene, so they were able to continue without a tow.
Well, this is the beautiful Helford River. I want to say a huge thank you to Nick for lending us both his mooring and his rib so we can go exploring around this river. It's really sheltered here, which is good because over the next few days the weather doesn't look very good at all. Hopefully we're going to be able to get out and explore a little bit of this beautiful area in between the downpours and the wind. It's a really well-known place for cruising down this coast, the Helford River. It's famously beautiful, and it is really lovely to be able to actually spend some time here.
It did rain a lot during our time here, but it was very sheltered from the strong southerly winds, and with the tent on, we were comfortable on board Florence. Everywhere we travel, we imagine what it would be like to live there. This part of the UK would be high on our list. But ultimately, we're not ready to move ashore, which is probably a good thing, as even a garden shed would cost more than Florence here.
One thing to remember about bad weather is that it will pass. After a few days here, the forecast has changed, and now it looks perfect for sailing east along the south coast of the UK.
Looks like we got a beautiful little weather window for the next couple of days to explore further along the coast. It's blowing 8 to 10 knots straight off the land, so we've got flat water, absolutely beautiful for sailing, and also really nice for stopping in at some of these ports along the south coast, because the wind coming off the land, they should be really sheltered, even if they wouldn't normally be in the prevailing southwesterly direction. So we're heading from the Helford to Polperro, which looks amazing on the picture, so we're really excited to get Florence in there. And then hopefully we'll explore a little bit further along the coast in this weather window. You can tell that it's really bad weather out in the Atlantic at the moment because of how many ships are sheltering in here. There's not normally this many, but right out in the Atlantic, there's some leftover wind and swells from some hurricanes over in the US. There's some really big waves out there at the moment. That's why they're all sheltering in here.
I think we got lovely calm conditions which are making for really nice, easy, gentle sailing. But this is also the shortest sail that we've had for a little while, because down the Irish Sea we were sailing overnight a lot of the time, or for really long day sails. So it should be nice to be able to arrive with enough time to hopefully get the dinghy down and have a good look ashore. Polperro is a really small harbour. They've got space for about 4 visiting yachts, and you have to tie to a mooring on both the bow and the stern to keep you out of the way of the entrance, because it's such a small entrance. But the swell is supposed to get in there from the direction that it's coming from at the moment, so it's questionable whether or not we'll be able to stay. They have space for us, but there might be a reason that there's no other boats in there. We'll just have to wait and see what it's like when we get there. If not, then we'll have to sail on another 15 miles to another anchorage.
Well, this is Polperro, but as you can see, there's a lot more swell here than we were hoping there would be. We've just come out so we can look directly into it. There's a fishing boat in there that doesn't seem to be moving around too much, but enough that I don't think it's going to be a comfortable night's sleep there, and probably not that we're going to feel generally comfortable being there, just because the swell is kind of wrapping in there and bouncing off the sides, the rock sides. So unfortunately, I think we're going to give this one a miss and sail on to Cawsand and Kingsand just off of Plymouth. It's about another 15 miles. If we come back along this coast when there is zero swell, then definitely like to stop in here.
So this is Cawsand and Kingsand, which is actually one of the very first places that we stopped in when we first set off on our round the world trip, which we realised today was over 8 years ago that we were last here. Makes us feel very old thinking about that. There's certainly a lot of water that's passed under the keel in that time.
It's beautiful ashore here. It's full of tiny little narrow streets and none of them are straight, and they all wind around the hill. There's no straight lines and the houses are just kind of built higgledy-piggledy up the hill. It's beautiful.
Right, it's some very British sailing that we've done today because we have arrived in time before the pub closes.
It's a beautiful, calm morning this morning. In fact, so calm that we're actually towing the dinghy, and we're not going too far. We're going about 20 miles further along the coast to Salcombe. And the reason we're doing that today is the wind is about to turn around and come from the east, which would have blown straight into Cawsand Bay where we were, and the swell is due to come round to the southeast as well. That would also have gone in there and made it uncomfortable. So we're going to do 20 miles on today to Salcombe. The tricky thing here is to make sure we have enough tide to get over the bar, because there's a sandbar at the entrance, but it's not too shallow. So that's why we've left at dawn, just to make sure that we've got plenty of water underneath us as we go over the bar. And then we're looking forward to exploring Salcombe.
It's not just the water depth over the bar. Leaving this early also means that we'll have the tide with us all the way there, and helping us up the Salcombe estuary when we arrive. Very helpful in these gentle winds.
There are a lot of sailing boats along the south coast of the UK, and as the tides make such a difference, inevitably everyone ends up setting off at a similar time to make the best of the tide. So we get to sail in company.
So this is Salcombe Harbour, which is another place that we last visited over 8 years ago. This was stop number 3 on our circumnavigation before we set off across Biscay. And it's lovely to be back here, and especially out of season. This place is beautiful, but it gets absolutely packed in the summer. And we're officially into winter season now, which means that it's a lot more peaceful and quiet. There's a lot more space, and it's also winter rates. So it's the same price to be on a mooring as it would be to be at anchor. So yeah, nice.
Although this is the quiet time of year, this is the dinghy dock. In summer months it is so popular that there is another overflow dock for parking dinghies.
This is a perfect place to be playing around in the dinghy. Perfect wind for it today, just nice and gentle. There's so many boats around, even though we're out of season. Everybody is out here having a good time. It's an absolutely beautiful place, Salcombe. So many boats. I've done a couple of dinghy events here in the past when I was a kid in the summer when it's absolutely packed and you can't move the boats. Just a beautiful place to come and visit. I can't believe that after all that rubbish weather in the summer, now it's October and I'm in shorts and bare feet enjoying sailing around here, but it's quite shifty, the wind. I've lots of boats to avoid, so I need to concentrate.
I take back what I said, it's still very busy here, but it's really nice. Everybody's out enjoying the water. There's everything from fishing boats, sailing boats, people rowing. Yeah, it's a beautiful weekend and probably one of the kind of last slightly warm days of the autumn. So yeah, we're just making the most of it. We've taken the day off to do a bit of dinghy sailing and enjoy it because we've got a lot planned over this winter and we're soon going to be back to where we started this round Britain trip and yeah, straight into the boat jobs. This is such a great place to explore by dinghy because it's obviously very sheltered up the river, and then there's lots of little inlets that you can take the dinghy further up as well.
Salcombe is one of my favourite places to stop on the south coast, but by now you'll realise that the videos are quite a long way behind reality. We shot that back in October, edited it in late November, and it's been released now in January. The reason for that is to allow us to set off on a new project without having a gap in the videos. Right now, we shouldn't be on board Florence, we should be somewhere much warmer preparing to sail a very different boat across the Atlantic Ocean. We will be filming that as a series and that will be available in March. But if you can't wait that long, join the crew on Patreon where we will have a daily update available on our tracker so you can follow along in real time. In the meantime, we hope you enjoy the rest of the series and thanks for watching.
Next time, we need to do some careful passage planning to work the tides past the infamous Portland Bill and back into the Solent through the Hurst Narrows, as we sail the final leg of our Round Britain adventure.
For extra updates in between these bi-weekly videos, and to find out what we're up to in real time, head over to Patreon and join the crew. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to make sure that you don't miss the next episode here on YouTube.
Continuing our voyage on Florence would not be possible without the support of our patrons. Thank you to all of you, and especially to our star patrons.